Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. As you know, I'm Frank.
My name is Funke.
Yep. Today we have a conversation we want to share with you guys, and it's on our relocation to Canada.
Woo!
As you can tell, we have our Nigerian accent, so we're originally from Nigeria.
What do you mean by a Nigerian accent?
But we have a Nigerian accent now, Abia. You actually okay, sorry, let me speak for myself. I have a Nigerian accent.
What do you are from Ghana?
Well, any Nigerian knows this is a Nigerian accent. I'm not saying her, I'm saying her, or whatever it is, how Nigerians say it.
Cuts.
Okay, but so guys, we want to tell our story, our relocation story today. Yeah, of how we came to Canada. We moved to Canada in
2018,
precisely July of 2018. But before we moved to Canada, there was a bit of a backstory. Do you remember much of that? I think that conversation started out in 2016, if I remember.
Well, yeah.
Or maybe shortly after, actually, because so Funke's immediate older sister moved here in 2016. And I remember back then, we were kind of somewhat involved in that movement.
Well, not quite, actually, because I remember that for me, then it was the paper process.
Yeah.
We came in through the PR route, the electronic PR route.
Yes.
But then it used to be the paper process, and for me, it would be like, oh, Funke, I'm gathering this document. Oh, they asked for this. I'm like, what are you doing? Okay, well done, well done. And then one day she just came to say, okay, they told us to submit our passport, so that means we'll be going in a few months or so, or a few weeks there. I'm like, come, rewind. What exactly are you talking about? Where are you going to?
I think for you, what dawned on you was because, again, they're best of friends. It was just the idea of, I'm going to miss my best friend.
Yeah.
I suspect, I can't remember clearly, but I suspect Funke might have mentioned the issue of, hey, are we also thinking about Canada? But for me, it was a big no.
It was a no.
It was a no because, so backstory again.
backstory.
A bit backstory. 2015, Buhari has just got into government. I was a big proponent of Buhari at the time.
Let me tell you guys, that time, people used to ask me, like, is Frank into politics? Because then WhatsApp messages, WhatsApp broadcasts used to be very popular back then.
Yes.
Frank would like put together some very, very intriguing message and send it to all the government. We're going to turn around.
How naive I was. If only I knew.
He was so like into the whole like.
And really, I had never been as involved in any government.
You really thought that Buhari was going to come?
I thought so.
Everything.
And you know, my logic was quite simple and straightforward, and it was easily this. Buhari, everybody kind of talked about how, of all the presidents and heads of states we had, he was the one that had integrity. He may not have been the smartest, but he put right people, at least the first time when he was a military president or military head of state. You know, so my logic was, if you have a Sibanjo with you, you are Buhari, you can get some people to do the right thing. All you need to do is make sure there are no thieves in your cabinet. That was all. You know, and I felt at the time, given the track record of Jonathan and all the nonsense that had happened, that if Buhari put his foot down and make sure we plugged all the loopholes, Nigeria was going to be. Let's not get into Jonathan and politics. Anyway, the reason why I tell that story is this. I was really enthusiastic about what Nigeria would become post-Buhari. So 2015 came, 1 year in, where I knew we had a problem was when Buhari I think it took 6 months to announce his ministers. And I'm like, okay, this is not a good sign. So by 2016, I was still like, you know, let's still give him one more time, some extra chance. He had just done a year plus, you know. I felt there was still hope for us. But as we rolled into 2017,
let's go.
The dance changed. Yeah, we knew that. No, you know.
And once Frank picked up on this, it was like, what next? Yes. What are you supposed to do? I was like, God, calm down.
We've been telling you this thing since it's not anything. It's not you woken up, Bobby.
Yeah, and then my other sister as well had come.
Yeah.
She also, I think she and Fumi kind of, she started out the process. She was the pioneer in our family. Thank you, Sis Y, for showing us the way. So she was the one that started the process, and then Fumi joined, and it was both of them. And then, yeah, like I said.
Do you remember there was a trigger for us? Was there something that made us ready?
Well, apart from just, the economic situation, like everything not being the way we wanted, also having kids. It was also a situation of, is this what we want?
Is this what we want to raise our kids? Yes.
Are these the opportunities we want to have, limit our kids to? Do we want more for them?
Yes.
Like, can there be more? Because I feel like almost for a number of us, let me say not almost, like a number of us, like with parents in this our generation, our parents, maybe they wanted more for us, maybe not, but it was always a situation of, if only they had done this, if only they had done
Things
that. And we do not want to be saying the same thing like many years from now. So there was an issue of, okay, what do we have to lose? Let's just try this.
Yes.
Just have that opportunity.
Yeah. No, that's true. So we thought we would do that and give our kids at least an opportunity. And somewhere in late 2016/2017, we started the process. So we started finding out how to do it.
Yeah.
We booked our IELTS exam.
Yeah.
And that was another interesting story.
I remember, we both, because Frank was the principal applicant, right?
Yes.
And then we had both taken the exams and we had great scores.
My score was better than Funke's score.
Hey, by 0.5 or something. But later on, we got to know that this exam is not just about taking it to there's some certain papers, because there was listening, there was
speaking, writing, and reading.
So I think listening had the
highest. Yes.
So it's about writing. It was about like really
getting maximizing the scores.
Exactly. Yes. So once Frank knew that as well, I was like,
yes.
Because the first time when we took the exam, me and our lawyer, I was studying, preparing. Frank was like, hey, he's not speaking, he's not listening, he's not writing. He went there, we passed though. But once he heard that we could get more.
And that's funny because I kept making fun of Funke that my score was better. But I remember on listening, I had 7.5/9. And on other scores, I think I had like 8.5. So they were really good.
Now your writings.
My writing is like that.
Frank's handwriting.
They've seen it before. They saw it in the 15 questions.
No, it was good.
It was good then.
I was
taking my time. Yeah, but my score I thought was good. I remember I spoke with a friend, Kiki. And as I was speaking with her, she was also doing the process, and she was like, you know what? We had done the simulation to see, can I get more scores? You're like, go check it out. That actually, if you change that your 7.5 in listening to a 9, you might get, and I did it, and it was like
the difference
probably an additional 30 points or additional 40 points. I'm like, wow. I went to book it.
Yeah.
I remember my second score, I got 9/9 in listening. I think the others I probably got some maybe
Was it 9? Was it 9/9?
Yes.
No, I know you got 9, but is it 9/9?
It was over 9. I think the max for listening is 9. I maxed out the score on listening at least. Others I probably got 8 and whatever, but I really didn't care. By the time we went back into the system, now we're in a more comfortable position.
Yeah.
In fact, I think we had stayed in the pool for a full year and it had expired. And the way it worked is that for every birthday you celebrate, your score goes down. Yeah. So we were like, you know what?
On a normal day, your birthday is coming. You're happy. You're in Canada for your birthday. Like, another birthday. Hey, God.
Oh boy, yeah. And then we finally got a provincial nomination. I remember we got Ontario. I think we got Ontario provincial nomination. One of the provincial nomination. We ignored it, knowing that the cutoff was still within range for us.
And then luckily for me, because I had sisters as well, you have additional points for having sisters already in Canada. But regardless of the number of siblings that you have,
you still get just one.
Whatever, you should just be the 15 marks. So I got that 15 marks.
Yeah,
so that helped.
We got that 15 marks. Yeah, so that helped bump the score. And I remember we were at work doing some trade show in the office when I checked my phone.
The golden email.
And I saw the golden. Oh boy, it was beautiful. But there was a bit of back and forth. Because between when we applied and when we eventually received it, Kobe was born.
Yeah.
So we had to go back and say, by the way, we have an extra child. So let's add him to the platform.
And that kind of delayed it by a few months as well.
Yes.
But all in all, our process. Okay, a bit of more information.
Yes.
apart from the English exam, which is the IELTS you spoke about, you also have to do like an academic qualification, like an academic evaluation.
To review. It was called WES.
Yes, through WES.
Yeah. Okay, they're not the only one actually. Let me not do free advert for them. Yeah.
You had to do like police clearance for every country that you have lived in for more than 6 months.
Yeah.
You also had to do to get like proof of employment. I think you had to have been working in your organization for a year or more.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. And then to show that you have to get letters from them. Did you get a letter? You got a letter as well?
I got a letter, yeah. It was to whom it may concern.
Yeah,
it was
because you didn't want to give your employers too much information, but at the same time,
I think at the time, again, because it wasn't very common, employers kind of assumed that you were applying for a visa.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of just a to whom you may concern kind of letter. Yeah, but I remember what you're talking about. And then at some point, you also had to do medicals. I think when you got approval, you had to do medicals. Did you do medical twice? I must remember I was with you once.
No, it was once.
Once?
Maybe I had to do something else after Kobe.
Okay.
It was
anyway, once. But yes, we had to do medicals at some point. So part of getting the whole pool process, and then once you get invited, you now start the medicals and all of that, and then you're waiting to hear back from the Canadian government. And
another reason why we moved, I can remember like when we both had like good jobs.
Yeah.
We were both comfortable, but at the same time, at some point of that mindset that even if we're not living abroad, we should be able to travel every time we want to. Like how we would travel almost every year. You know, we're making plans and dollar naira. Anyways, so the first time we wanted to travel, I think we had gone to Dubai for our honeymoon. Then we wanted to go to the UK. Was it UK first or
UK?
US?
It was UK first.
It was the UK first, and then we put in
it was US first.
Okay.
Yeah, for Zizi, when you were pregnant with Zizi.
Yeah. We were bounced the first time. And then Frank was like, oh, okay, hold on. I have it. I mean, I have a better job. I have this, I have that. Let me go. I think they bounced you.
They bounced me too. They all moved me. I ain't talking about American embassies. Everybody is seeing you.
And then it's not as if we were planning to like relocate or really wanted to go and give birth. And I can remember when Kobe was born as well. I think that was one of our eureka moments, like our mindset shift moments as well, because when we put together how much we needed to have to, go and have Kobe, because finally we got the visa, right? So we had our visas.
Yeah.
But when we put together
so how much... we had actually been planning to give birth to Kobe in the US.
Yeah.
And we had contacted the hospital and done all that and gotten an estimate of what the quota was. But we also knew at that time we're already in the pool for Canada.
We were even in the pool already. You're just thinking about
we were already in the pool. Okay. And so we felt like, you know what, this thing is within reach for us. Why are we spending this money to go and give birth to his son in the US?
When all of us can have...
Exactly. And then we'll move to Canada. And what would this boy end up being? Would it be Canadian American or American Nigerian? Like, you know what, let's forget it and just focus on the Canada PR.
I remember applying. Okay, so US finally got the visa for the UK as well. Our initial application we put in the application and we got denied. And we're like, what is going on here? This is not the plan. The plan was that, we'll have opportunities and all of that.
And at this point, Zizi was what? She was already a year old.
She was under a year.
She was under a year?
She was under a year. And I remember after we got the denial, do you remember that night?
Yes.
Frank was like, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, no problem. Whatever. God does not, maybe God does not want us to travel. Like, it seems like, what's the big deal? If you don't travel now, we'll travel later.
Yeah.
In the middle of the
night. While men slept, my wife was awake.
Crying.
I woke up in the middle of the night. Afuke was sitting up, crying in the middle of the night. I'm like,
I was praying. Maybe I was praying. I was like,
I'm not saying you were praying. You were wailing.
I was not wailing.
I said, okay, what's the matter? And we talked, and I figured it was the whole denial from.
It was just painful. Like,
from UK
I'm in Nigeria. Like, do you know what it means to be in Nigeria? With all the steez, with all the.
Anyway, long story short, we decided we were going to appeal the whatever. So, trust my lawyer wife. She gingered me, and we went detail by detail to address.
We gave them booklets.
We gave them a booklet to address everything. For everything they mentioned, we gave everything, and shortly after, we applied again, and we got the visa to go to the UK. So I think that was what opened up.
Yeah, it was an eye opener too, to say, look, this green passports. No matter how,
and I was saying to Funke that again, I think sometimes these guys just deny us so they make double money on you.
Well, that's possible.
Quite honestly, there was no basis for denying us, and that was why we felt confident to reapply, because everything they talked about, it was already shown in our original application. But anyway, we digress a bit. Let's go back to our Canada story.
So eventually we got the golden email, like Frank said. We had to resign from our jobs. We had to sell a lot of things. Okay, so let me tell a secret here that I probably haven't said, and my brother will be shocked to hear this. When I was living back home, I was working with a multinational back home, and my dad thought, in my dad's opinion, and really wasn't wrong, it was such an amazing job, and he was so impressed with me and all of that. So when I said to my dad that I was leaving Nigeria, he just didn't understand why.
He couldn't get it. He was like, you leave your job and go to Canada.
Which was, it's not just your dad, like so many people, because like Frank was saying earlier.
I felt your own parents understood a lot more because you already had two siblings out of the country.
I mean, just generally speaking, because then, or like now that Japa is now, everywhere, it wasn't as common as it was. It was already, revving up, but not as much.
Yes.
So a lot of people used to be surprised, like, why? You guys are doing it,
Yeah.
It used to be, but...
Yeah. Anyway, what I didn't tell them back home was that, and this is important to the next story I'm about to tell, but what I didn't tell them back home was that I had actually quit my job with the multinational I was working with at the time. What I made my dad believe was that I was being transferred by the company, because that was the only way it could make sense to him. And so I made him believe that, and again, I regret it. I wouldn't do it if I was to do it now. To say that I was being transferred. Even my brothers didn't know, my siblings didn't know. And the reason why I didn't tell them, because I didn't want it to spill by mistake to my dad.
And just make their minds at ease.
Yes. And the reason why I tell that story is this. There was this confidence and this, I would take it beyond confidence. I think it was a bit of arrogance on my part, I always joke that I thought the moment I landed in Canada, there would be people holding placards with my name on it, offering me job and all of that. Canada humbled me.
Oh, well, maybe God humbled you.
I think it was God. It was a very good learning process for me. It just reminds me of how God dealt with children of Israel. You'd always get angry with them, but then he would show them mercy in the end. It was the same way. It took me 5 good months. We landed this country in July. I didn't get a job until December. And knowing Canada, once you convert your money from Naira to Canadian dollars and you're burning it, your rent alone, say, for that period, they are going to,
because I know they tell all of us when they're relocating, don't convert, so don't try to convert.
It's impossible not to convert.
At that time, you're just going to the store like, what? Times. And then what was the exchange rate? Maybe
it was less than 300. Less than, because I know that about 6 months or a year into our stay here, the exchange rate was 280. So back then it must have been early 200s or even late 100s.
And right now is what?
Yeah, it's 1,000 plus. It's over 1,000 plus now. Yeah. But it was a very humbling experience. But I say all that again, not to scare anyone considering relocation, but to encourage people. So there are jobs to be found, there's no doubt. One of the things I learned from that is people talked about a foot in the door kind of job. I was glad I never took that, because I know a few people who have taken a foot in the door kind of job, and that foot is still in the door. Many years later, if you're not going to take it, don't take it. Be very clear on what you want. Don't settle for less. That was the first thing I learned. The second thing I learned is prepare very well when you're coming. There could be surprises along the line that you don't expect. My role and the job that I do is a very specialist role. So I kind of expected, and having the experience I had coming from back home, kind of expected it was going to be an easy one. Yes, I did get 1 or 2 offers, but they weren't exactly what I wanted. And I was patient until I got exactly what I wanted.
But I guess it goes back to preparing. Like, if I know that people come with different, levels of
preparation, or preparedness.
So be true to yourself as well. If you know that you have to take those jobs, like to just pay your rent, do what you have to do, but just always have your eye on the big picture so that you do not get too comfortable. And I'm a lawyer, so I had to relicense here. what I would advise for somebody coming in as a lawyer is start the background process even before you relocate.
Yeah.
Like I already got my, there's a process that we have to go through. The NCAs would, assess your qualifications, give you the number of exams to write. If you can start doing all of that before,
I remember you went to Supreme Court as well for something, right?
But if you can start doing all of that before you leave, so that once you get into the country, you're already writing your exams, that would just be perfect.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So those were our early days. And there's always a stage, and there are about 5 different stages to relocation once you land. The first few months you are like still on vacation mode, it doesn't dawn on you that this is your new home. We did enjoy that process for a while, but I think now to a very large extent feels like home, feels fully settled. Just to also mention that we got our citizenship when 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2021.
Was it 21? 22? I think it was 22. Yeah, I think we got our citizenship 2022 or 2021. So
it was a very, very emotional
time or ceremony.
Ceremony. Yes. I think I cried. I would have cried when they were taking the national anthem. The way and I feel like I need to say this, like, moving into Canada, Nigerians, I think it's only Nigerians, when Nigerians are coming to Canada, that you'll find people like trying to like not put you down, but really say, oh, why are you relocating? Like, is it that you don't believe in, you're not patriotic, you're not. When people move from other places, it's like, oh, an adventure. Oh, you're so brave. Oh, wow, you're doing this. I admire you. Let's learn how to admire. All of us have our different paths. All of us have different reasons for doing things. Admire people that are brave enough to do this, right? And anyway, I digress. What I was going to say is that one of the things that I think it was the judge that mentioned is you could have chosen any other country, but thank you for choosing Canada. The moment you start to see yourself in that space, like, I deserve to be here. I have something to offer this country.
It's not a favor they're doing me. Yeah.
So,
because the country needs you as much as you need the country. That's
exactly.
So but I think one of the reasons why people say that, and quite honestly, it's also wrong, is they almost talk about living or migration out of Nigeria as a running away.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be seen from that perspective. Not everyone is necessarily running away. Yes, we know that we hope things will be better, and quite honestly, even now that we've settled here, there's nothing stopping us from going back to Nigeria if we wanted. Home will always be home. Quite honestly. I know how many times most of the people I still talk to or chat with, a lot of them are still back home. Family is still back home. There's always plans to visit back home and all of that. Yeah. But hey, we just wanted to share a bit of our story. Since then till now, our story, we've had lots of ups and downs. We can't capture that in this video. I think on a separate video, babe, we should tell some of our ups and downs.
Our culture shocks.
Our culture shocks. And some events that have occurred since we landed here.
Oh
yeah. But it's good. It's good. But it's all been to the praise and glory of God. That our lives have become what they are. And we are extremely thankful. If we were to go back and do it again, if we were to rewind the time to 2016, 2017, would you do it again? I was going to ask. I'll say yes.
I would. I might have even done it sooner.
Exactly, I'd have done it sooner. Again, probably just a good time to drop that. I tried going to the US after secondary school to have my university. I was denied US visa to school twice. Twice I was denied US visa.
But that was just so that he could meet me.
Exactly.
Right?
I keep saying that because I'd left for the US, I would never have met my beautiful wife. I would have probably met one, I don't know, some American girl somewhere. But the only reason why I'm here now is because God forced me to stay back and go to the prestigious University of New
Alright guys, we don't want to make this video too long. It was just supposed to be like a very fun chat. But of course, if you have specific questions about relocation, we are not immigration consultants, but we'll try to answer as much as we can. And also to point out that when we did this process, it was a long time ago, so a lot of things have changed. But yeah, we would share whatever information that we have.
Happy to.
And yeah, thanks for watching. And if this is your first time watching us, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And see you in the next one. Bye.